essentially the Chinese version of The Godfather. The film is apparently loosely translated to Youth and Danger or something along those lines, or I think it's called Gu Wa Zai, if I'm saying that right. I might be butchering that.
I, without a shadow of a doubt, can tell you you're not. But continue.
Regardless, Shanji is one of the main characters. He's a full-on gangster, and that's why this guy has taken that name. And do you know what? With the confidence that Shanji plays, I feel like he lives up to that name. I feel like when I think of Shanji, I think of gangster, you know? So I like this guy even more now that I know the origin of his name.
Hey, I agree. I think it's really, really cool. I will say, though, don't agree with the Nautilus pickup here. Honestly, I think for OMG, you should have taken your Xinjiao here, got that strong jungler, or the Jarvan if you really wanted to, and tried to set up yourselves effectively for some sort of plays through the mid and through the bot side. It may be an answer here where you just go like, hey, Jiejie takes Xinjiao, they end up taking the Aphelios, and then you're kind of going, right, well, maybe then we go for the Jarvan and try and like play down towards the Aphelios, but with the Thresh there, Jarvan not really going to be too hot. It just feels like Xinjiao is the better option in that bot lane matchup. Or sorry, in that jungle matchup.
Yeah, I will be surprised if they lock in Xin for the bottom lane, but it's going to be the Lee Sin for Jiejie. I will say, it's always a treat to watch Jiejie play Lee Sin. We also have Viktor on his Aphelios, which soon he will have a skin for, by the way. Can't wait to see that in the LPL, to see Viktor playing his own Aphelios skin. That is going to be a big moment when that finally comes on through. But over to OMG, possibly just going for a jungler to finish this one out. Or not. It's the mid lane.
Okay. So, wanted to make sure that Creme is going to be able to stay safe in this mid lane. Again, though, it doesn't feel like it gives you a very strong 2v2. Instead, OMG going, right, we're not overly, sorry, 2v2 mid, jungle. It feels like instead that OMG are just opting into the team fight. Let's just go have Viktor, great zone control, Nautilus, great engage, and can again dictate the pace of the fight. And you've got the two hyper carries for the late game, the Viktor and the Jinx. So certainly feels like OMG are just going, right, can't beat you, let's just hands off and let's hope for the best. It does feel like, though, for ADG, you ban the Xinjiao here and make sure that Aki isn't on a strong jungler, and you can very much dictate the pace of the early game. It's actually OMG, surprisingly enough, banning away the Akali, but it feels like just trying to get Scout off of things that can bully Creme is an everything.
Yeah, LeBlanc taken off as well. Shanji had his Rumble removed. I mean, the Gragas is already gone. I feel like Shanji already being pushed here because we've got, you know, he's played the Graves, but we saw that last game, it didn't work out too well. Looks like the Gwen, Set, the Gangplank or other picks that he's gone for. I feel like EDG could maybe just ban a different lane instead at this point and try and remove a jungler perhaps, because I feel like you've already banned away the comfort from Shanji.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think the Xinjiao ban would have been better because the Xinjiao able to duel Lee Sin pretty well early, so I think that's what Aki will go for here. Keep the counter pick for Shanji in the top lane, right? The Jarvan I don't think is as big of an issue, simply because you can play the Jarvan away, you can have a Lantern to get reposition anyone who's caught up, but it's not going to be the case anyway. But OMG actually going for the Renekton, so Shanji just wanted to have a strong lane on that top side, so maybe we're just going to go full range here for OMG. They're just like, hey, we'll take the Renekton, take Nidalee now for Aki in the jungle, we can go Nidalee Renekton onto the top side, look for dives, and as well just play really far back and prevent EDG from being able to get in on top of us, which is why I actually like the hover of the Ornn here. I think XiaoXiang taking something that can definitively start engages and make things uncomfortable for the Jinx and the Viktor is going to work.
Well, the Ornn is going to be locked in. Now we just need to see what's going to go down in that mid lane up against this Viktor. And obviously the Corki already banned away. I mean, there's been plenty of mid lane bans with the LeBlanc and the Akali removed as well. But looks like Syndra the hover right now. Pretty much anything that's going to just be a control lane, at least to be able to neutralize.
I mean, you got a lot of bully potential here in the Syndra stages, right? Really strong into the Viktor, good push potential, and that strong mid jungle as well with Jiejie and Scout, another factor playing into that. So I really like what EDG have drafted here. Super strong team fight and something that can do really well against what OMG are trying. And actually going to be Aki going over towards the Rek'Sai. So strong early game jungler, good counter towards the Lee Sin, but I still think just in a 2v2 with the mid jungle, unfortunately, OMG miss out. But the potential here for Aki to disrupt EDG with a lot of these early counter ganks.
Yeah, I mean, this is the second time today that we see the Rek'Sai locked in as the counter to the Lee Sin. Obviously, you can go for the knock-up mid-Q, etc., etc. Like, in terms of the duel, it goes pretty well for the Rek'Sai. Whether or not it works in the bigger picture of the game, we'll have to wait and see. So, Dagda, how are you feeling about the two comps? Are you liking what OMG are bringing to the table is my big question, because we need to see a little bit more. We need to see, you know, is the brain there, if not the hands?
So the big problem for me is like looking at Rek'Sai. I'm trying to figure out where she actually goes, because you try and play through Renekton top side,
jungle.
Right? Oh, yeah. You try and gank the top end here for XiaoXiang. You've got the Bellows Breath, which will stop you from being able to CC with either the knockup or the Renekton, so whichever one, right? So you've always got the opportunity then to try and turn that play around as Ornn. It's pretty difficult to dive an Ornn. Mid lane, you don't win out of the 2v2. And you don't really have pressure here with Creme to try and set you up against Scout. And even then on the bot side, Viper and Meiko, they just got the Lantern. So it's actually really difficult for Aki to try and set up plays. So I'm really curious how he tries to play this early game. Because honestly, it just feels like Jiejie, if you don't really do too much in the early stages, you're actually going to be pretty alright. So unless it's just try and dissuade the full push from Jinx on the bot side with Jiejie, and maybe Aki's just there to facilitate and counter gank. That could be the play, but it still feels like EDG's team fight I just prefer versus OMG's.
To see, because certainly plenty of late game damage on either side, right? And with an Ornn, like there is the extra scaling conversation, right? You know, Syndra getting a lot of damage out of that, Aphelios as well. You do get a lot of value out of Ornn later on in the game, but obviously the change that happened, I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, where they reduced how early Ornn can get those upgrades for his team. It does feel like that is very much a late game conversation, whereas before it was much more about the mid-game spikes that you can get. It feels like you need a little bit longer to be able to get to that point, as the Ornn Shanji going quite deep. This one does get a ward down. We'll be able to back away as well. But that will mean that EDG will be spotted to start their jungle clear.
I think EDG best plays here are like look for plays through Scout onto Creme. Unlocking Scout, setting him up to try and punish onto the bot side is probably your best bet. Because I think in like if Jiejie and Aki both match up, then you are on the bottom side.
2v2 coming out from Abel and Cole here. It's a great hook to start it off. Big damage onto both Meiko and Viper as able to push us forwards. Meiko low on HP. Both summoners available for both bottom lanes still. Nobody pulling the trigger on those, but control for OMG to start us off.
Yeah, and really good job by Code there. And I think Code has looked much more steady on picks like the Nautilus rather than the Lulu or the Enchanter. So nice to see that already OMG getting control. And this is what I wanted to see. I was about to say Abel and Cold definitely have been pushing this lane. Should be able to do a decent amount when it comes towards chip damage on the turret. That's why I think Aki very quickly pathing down towards the spot side to keep the push up. So I think for EDG, unlocking Scout and trying to play through the 4 versus 3 on the bot side is going to be your best bet here to try and dissuade Abel and Cole from being able to get a ton of plates and scale really well.
Creme is just straight up not having a good time, dog. He's getting annihilated in this mid lane by Scout. You did say that Syndra will have the advantage early on. Aki actually... Oh! He got spotted for a split second, and the pings come out immediately. Someone on EDG was looking at their map there. Aki did get spotted. Jiejie will be able to finish his red buff off, though. Aki is just chilling for the time being. Now knows Jiejie's here. Decides to back away. Is not going to go for that 1v1.
It wouldn't have been a 1v1 for long. Scout having pushing mid can always move across. So, Aki just trying to get vision control for this bot side and spot any sort of pesky business. Now the fight over Scuttle that I don't know if Aki wants to fully commit for, but definitely with Abel and Cole able to rotate up, Scout and Jiejie were back.
It's a slow one, isn't it? It's a slow one to start us off, Dagda. After the sheer bloodlust that we got to see out of Viper last game, we're taking it a little easier. Look at the CS difference in this bottom lane so far. Off the back of that level 1 trade that we've got to see out, Abel Cold, just a 10 CS lead in favor of OMG to start us off, as XiaoXiang feeling a similar difference up in that top side with Shanji getting the best of this matchup so far.
And this kind of feels like it's going to be the story of this game, right? OMG side lanes full push, mid lane in favor of EDG. So it does definitely become a case of like, how does EDG try and shut down some of the pressure that OMG are going to have? Because otherwise, like, Aki's just here as a push. Aki, like, trying to get towards the late game is just like, hey, look, if I can deny Jiejie from influencing my lanes, cool, I can get Creme enabled into the later portion of the game. Maybe I can set up some plays with Shanji, but all I want to do is make sure that Abel and Cold are as big as all hell, and that Viper and Meiko can't compete. So when we get to team fights, even if you got stronger engage, even if you on paper look like the better team fight, the goal difference is in favor.
Viper's step too far forward. That's played. That's flash used. And the Flame Chomper's underneath Meiko. Surely a kill. But actually, Viper might turn it around. Aki has to flash. And Viper step too far forwards. Now the zap hits and Cold willing to go for the dive here. Takes a tower shot. Can Abel finish the kill though? Oh no, Viper gets them both. The shield from Jiejie. And it's all gone tits up for OMG.
It's a disaster. The fact that you've managed to put 2 kills now into Viper, it was perfect. You'd already gotten the big lead when it came to gold. You'd gotten the kill. Just play it safe, take it easy. And now it's all for naught. OMG throw away the lead. And it's Viper now who comes out on top, because this was actually a really good start, right? Viper and Meiko were convinced that there was something happening on the bot side. They managed to flash away and they get the kill onto Meiko. This is where you can kind of take a sigh of relief, say, hey, we got Aki, we're all good. But heal to try and feed up Cold. Cold sticks around a little bit too long under the towers. Viper does a good job to get the damage down. Triumph comes in and the shield to save Jiejie.
That was painful to rewatch. That's so sad for OMG. They were feeling it, you know, they were going under the tower, and they would have got that kill. They almost got that kill. Not quite. Not quite isn't good enough. And now Abel with 0 kills, Viper with 2. We're in this same spot that we were last game, Dagda. This is exactly how the last game started, except last time it was EDG just winning the 2v2. This time around, OMG had the advantage, and they've thrown it away.
And because of that, now EDG having a little bit more of a stable bot side, can look to try and look for some of these dragons, can start looking to actually match the 3v3 on that bottom end, which makes things a hell of a lot easier. Push actually in for Viper and Meiko. Maybe we can get a play mid.
Oh, Scout! Just destroys Creme in the mid lane. Aki dodging a couple of skill shots, but Graviton cannot be dodged. And there's the 3rd kill for Viper. Turret over the wall as well. And Dagda, it already feels the same as game 1. It already feels the same.
I mean, it's already started to happen, right? And this is the thing we were just saying, right? You can contest the 3v3 in the bot side now for EDG. They pick off Aki with pushing the bot, they move across. They could look for dragons if they want to, but it looks like they're more interested in just kind of getting damage and plates. And it's kind of heartbreaking for OMG, right? That one mistake tossed away all the early plans they had. Aki was giving up pretty much his entire top side just so he could stick around bot side, understanding, hey, this was the lane that I needed to get ahead. But unfortunately, they're not able to. And now Creme feeling the brunt of this Syndra damage. Like, this is an awful matchup for the Viktor because he just can't get away. The one shot comes through with that ultimate.
And it's just so clean from Syndra. He took 1 tower shot to go basically underneath the tower instead of take 1 tower shot. He played it immaculately. The build he knew. And then into the ultimate. Really, really nice there by Scout.
I mean, it's
showing that he is
right?
True, yeah. I mean, it's not that I'm surprised that he's good at Syndra, but just that was immaculate, you know.
I mean, it's one of the picks that he was known for when he came over in 2015, right? He was the Syndra Azir Rise player, and you can see now why he was renowned for that pick when he came over. It's just, he's so damn good in this champion, able to bully so well. And with that bullying going on in the mid lane, Jiejie moving up towards this Rift Herald. Resets have come through for EDG, so they will be there ever so slightly before OMG, and also having a little bit more damage in the tank, so Jiejie feeling pretty confident in this finish.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting to think about. Is it XiaoXiang? He's just going to have to flash. He's okay, though. And in the meantime, he's distracting the enemy, so that'll be EDG grabbing themselves a Herald. EDG might look for a little bit more. Just clearing vision. Shanji gonna get caught by the call of the Forge God. Dodges the knockup though, but Meiko is here with the play. Shanji has flash. Might just start the play off for himself. Trying to get onto Viper, who's just going strong. Has red and white weapons. Has a Moonlight Vigil. Has a million shurikens to work with. And there's another kill for Viper. 4-0. And now they can just batter away on this top tower. They can even Herald if they want to. I don't think they need to use it just yet.
They're perfectly happy to just swap 2v2 into this matchup. That's more turret plates that Viper can look to play through. And EDG, they get that fight. They still have control of the map, and they can kind of just use that Rift Herald whenever they want. No dragons picked up at the moment, which means that from a perspective of like forcing fights, at least OMG have time to kind of wait and scale and see if they can get the Viktor and Jinx into position where they can just trade dragons for elsewhere on the map. But we get a replay here. EDG, I like that they're going this aggressive, but I'm super surprised that OMG tried to do this, right? Like, you see 3 members here, and you already know that Jiejie has to be in the area because he just killed the Rift Herald, and Abo not in a position to follow up, so man advantage in favor of EDG, and then the kill advantage in favor of him too. Oh no.
Oh, Creme's in trouble again. The big stun comes in. Gravity Field saves Creme's life and a good flash. Get away from the death sentence. That was damn close to being another kill in that mid lane there. Cold gonna try and play bounce for the time being. It's just invade after invade.
All I saw was Aki go underneath the ground, and suddenly like 3 pop-ups of people moving in his jungle. Yeah. He's like, I'm out. I'm getting out of here. I do not want this. It's like alarm bells ringing. But EDG now, again, vision control established in this bot side. No real ability for OMG to try and defend this turret, and you can see that that's where EDG are trying to use this Rift Herald, get more gold into fight.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
There we go. Creme's gone. Scout just absolutely styling in the mid lane. You reminded me there when you talk about Aki going underneath the ground. It's like that scene off of Aliens where he's like, they're coming out of the walls. They're like all over on the radar all of a sudden. Oh my god, that film, that was scary back then. It's not really anymore. It's been dated, but still amazing. Oh, good little hook. That's Viper under the tower. Zap comes on through. Rocket available. No, it's not. It's on cooldown. But Meiko low on HP as well. Oh, it's not.
I don't know how that hook hit Viper. That was my real question. XiaoXiang, carry waves before Aki arrives. It's all good and done.
Oh no, he's gone too far forward. Shanji happy to tank here. So knock up Aki with some damage. XiaoXiang goes down. Shanji, can he escape? Because Scout is here. Raid boss Scout, 2-0 already. But he misses the E. Shanji walks away. Nice little pick up here by OMG.
Yeah, XiaoXiang a little bit unfortunate. Moved up to try and finish off that last 2 CS. I don't think he really needed to. And without the Bellows Breath there to keep him safe, he's in trouble. OMG, though, still hunting here. I think that could be a mistake, though. Like, Shanji just gets one shot by literally just the 3 orbs that get created by the Syndra.
I feel like I'm a little surprised EDG haven't taken any Drakes in this game, because it's a Cloud first, so you know the soul is good. But I feel like EDG are essentially saying, we don't need it. Drake is not how we win this game. We're just going to kill you. Like, it doesn't feel like Drake is a win condition for EDG at all. And, you know, they'll maybe pick it up now just as a consolation prize because it's available on the map and they just have so much control. But generally speaking, it does not feel like EDG are going to be looking towards a soul as a win condition this game.
I mean, at this stage, 12.5 minutes into the game, no dragon. It's going to take super long for that to actually be relevant. I still think, though, it could have been a win condition for them. You're playing this team fighting composition, and certainly being able to get control over that early is great. I think their biggest worry was just like losing out on a team fight at it, but now that they are so far ahead, they're just not really interested in like going for it at this stage. They already have a lot of what they want. They can always base OMG in towards Barons, and when you've got like Scout on the Syndra, XiaoXiang's Ornn, you trying to face check into this team is terrifying as well. So just use the fact mid tower is down to get your vision.
I just love how Viper had a lot of that entire time, and he's just not scared. He just keeps on firing during the trade. As Jiejie and Scout are going to be able to grab away. Blue buff was a very cheeky recall there from Shanji. I'm not especially sure how he'd ended up in that position, but he gets away with it.
I will say that as like...
Sorry.
a Thresh player, just oh, hang on. Maybe I gotta hold on. But as a Thresh player, seeing your AD carry pull what Viper does, where he just sits there, actually, hold on to this. What goes wide? Where you're like sitting there with the lantern. It's like your mate at the nightclub who just doesn't want to leave. You're sitting there, the taxi's waiting, you've got the door open, you're just like, can we please go? Look, I got places to be. I don't really want to be sticking around with you and just kind of talking crap to everyone. Yes, yes.
It's kebab o'clock, mate. He's like, one more vodka and coke. One more shot. Come on, man. The party's just getting started. It's like 4 o'clock. They're like, come on. It's kebab o'clock. Let's get to Maryland, you know. If anyone's been out in Leicester, you've been to Firebug, you've been to Maryland. I just want to quickly bring up the conversation. Oh, mate, Leicester's a banging night out. Leicester is not a great place to be, but it's a good night. Because, I don't know, I'm from Doncaster. I like dodgy places. I'm going to move on. I've been desperate to bring up this conversation for ages now, and I keep failing miserably because stuff is happening. And I think it's going to happen again. His OMG are posturing to fight with his Herald. I don't know if this is a fight that they can take, but they're going to go for it anyway. Meiko in trouble here and obliterated by Abel. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe this is a winnable fight. There's the Calibrum coming on through. Look at this damage out from Viper at ridiculous range. And now a couple of knockups coming out from XiaoXiang as well. Flash away from Cold. OMG with the numbers advantage, but it's not stopping EDG from fighting away. Aki moving forwards, he's got that radar out, he's on to Viper, gets the knock up, the rest of the team trying to get the damage here, but the hook won't land. And Aki finishes him underneath the tower. OMG finding the fight to get back into the game. Abel going strong on the front line, low on HP though, as Cole takes the tower shot. Do they have the damage to get through? XiaoXiang, Creme desperately trying to survive. Great play from Jiejie. Waits a second on the blast gun to finish that one off. And somehow, it's still an even fight. But honestly, I think OMG will take an even fight at this point.
Definitely. I mean, even the shutdowns that kind of came through up that are going to do a bit of help to their gold and to their pockets. But for EDG, just a little bit late to the party, right? You didn't have Viper in position. Now Jiejie is able to come across up towards this top side. They'll still get Rift Herald. Still feels like they'll be able to crack open these outer turrets and side lanes that have been causing a bit of an issue and try and set themselves up.
Beautifully done here. And, I mean, Aki is having a pretty good game. Aki is 3-1-1. Got the assassination right there for shutdown as well. Second on the look is just EDG, I think, being a little overconfident in the position.
Yeah, it's the positioning is bang on, Munch. Like, Viper not really there. Scout was only on his way as well. And they're the two big carries right now. So even though XiaoXiang's like really good up there, there's no one really in a position to follow up because they were late to the party. It means that OMG are able to find these fights. And here, really smart from Aki, right? They know that the board is completely clear, so he hops in through one tunnel, out through the other, manages to pick off Viper, and Scout as well gets caught out that little bit too far forward because he's trying to save this.
I think Viper and Scout honestly just being a little disrespectful, obviously, with the positioning as well. And I love that. Jiejie hits the Q. Creme needed to play that a little smarter and wait for the Q to fall off, but I don't think there was a way of getting out there. Now Scout caught. Oh, but the flash! And almost one-shots Aki. Rocket goes flying by. I don't know how Scout walks away with that much health and Aki walks away with that much health. Like, off the start of that fight, it's not the way I would have thought that went.
The rocket coming through was like, yeah, we're gonna kill him. Scout walks out with like barely a scratch, and Aki's the Black Knight from Monty Python. Like he's got just but a scratch.
Run out of limbs.
Like, yeah.
Oh god, Scout is just on another level this game. Slight aggressive positioning in the last fight, but other than that, he's just destroying people. He's 30 CS up as well. And I want to talk about Scout. I finally got a moment, Dagda. You were talking about how when he joined, he was this Azir, right, Syndra player over from the LCK, right? And these days, I think people know him for things like his Syndra and his Rise. But I want to mention that there was a moment in time along the way where he was playing these assassins, the Kian, the Silas, the Carly. And when you look at picks like this, like Silas, he's got 26 games in his career, over an 80% win rate. Similar stats for his Akali as well. This is a player that is so renowned, and not just in one style. He's such a versatile player. That's what separates Scout from so many.
Yeah, especially because, like, when we saw him at Worlds, a lot of the Silences, a lot of the Akalis, that's what EDG were looking super strong on. Now we see him popping off in the Syndra. This guy is so versatile. It opens up EDG so much as to what they want to play. And that's not even touching things like the twisted play and the ability to find these smart map plays that we've seen from EDG pretty consistently. Now though, finally one dragon gets picked up about 5 minutes ago. So 2 is on the way. Looks like EDG just gonna pop themselves back up. Hold on.
Big call of the Forge God here, and that's just going to be an 80 carry. One shot, XiaoXiang getting himself kill credit, and deservedly so, starting that one off beautifully. And EDG with another pick here. Dragon has just spawned, so that'll be their second Drake of the game. We'll find out what the soul will be for this one, as it's going to be a good one. There are literally no bad options. You know that it's a good situation for you when Ocean Soul is the worst possible option available. Aki finding XiaoXiang up on his top side, but Meiko's there with a lantern. There's a ward on the lantern though. XiaoXiang still gets out, still survives. And now a play coming out from Meiko to try and buy space. Shanji cannot follow up, and Scout is here to start dishing the damage out. Jiejie on the flank, and OMG suddenly the ones in the precarious position. Good stun coming out onto Scout, but he just doesn't have the damage to finish anything off. And Viper wants a little more. XiaoXiang gets another kill, and that's going to be the TP out of Creme. He knows it's out. And there's a rocket from Abel to find a bonus kill off the back of things. It's pure chaos on the Rift. This cold is finally found, and Viper gets his 5th of the game.
I wasn't sure if XiaoXiang was going to reset and maybe get the TPs and the 20-minute bar once more for EDG, but it's not going to be the case as able to get the snipe from downtown. But you said it. That was pure chaos. OMG scatter to the 4 corners of Summoner's Rift as soon as EDG come a knocking. And it means that still the kills go the way of EDG. Still we're looking at a 5,000 gold lead. And still looking like EDG's favorites in this game. It's just been so difficult for OMG to get posted. Since the early game where they're kind of missing out, XiaoXiang just able to walk up and get Call of the Forge God like this. Goes straight onto Abel. Creme flashes away, but unfortunately Abel's was still not up and available. They get the picks, and then they follow up for more.
Well, it has gone better for OMG in this game than it did last game. It's not saying a lot, but it has gone better. The problem I've got, Dagda, is that first off, we've got SOFM up in the top side with Warmogs coming up through. XiaoXiang. I actually think Warmogs is a fired item, but it's just funny that SOFM has a monopoly on the item somehow. But where the gold is sitting on this team for EDG is terrifying on the side of OMG. You've got Scout with 3 kills. You've got Viper with 5 kills. They're both pretty much on 2 items. Scout ever so slightly delayed on that death cap, but he's going death cap second, so I think that says enough by itself. Feels like EDG in prime position, and they have so much control every time. I look at Jiejie, he's invading. He's finding an extra camp. He's finding a way to buy more space for his team.
EDG now with the mid push. This is pretty terrifying if you can actually get this, because as you can see, push mid, rotate the bot. Shanji needs to be so careful. And even though it's just Ornn pushing the waves, you know that EDG are just lurking in the jungle, and you can't really come out to contest it, because they can just one-shot you pretty much as soon as you walk up, with XiaoXiang and also Scout being able to set themselves up. Dragon in 2 minutes as well. So if EDG are maintaining this control over the bot side of OMG, it's going to be difficult to contest this third dragon.
Shanji needs to go full gangster here if he wants to defend the tower, but it's not going to happen. He gets hooked on in. Dashes out to safety, but this tower is so extremely low on HP. Aki off on the side. He's just going to stop that mid-wave in the meantime. But EDG, they can keep this a full day, honestly. They've got so much pressure to work with, and they have such a tremendous gold lead, 5,000 at the 22-minute mark. And, you know, that doesn't sound like a lot in the LPL, because we have some games that are real blowouts. But that is a lot of gold. That is a big lead that EDG have, I promise you guys. As a tier 2 goes down to the bottom side, EDG reset once more, and they have full vision control for the Drake that's going to come up in a minute and a half.
And kind of just control the map as well, right? Like, look where the waves are positioned. You'll only get them just teetering back over into EDG's side before this dragon spawns. And for OMG, maybe you just give us, try and can go towards like a top push or mid lane push. See if you can get towers for yourself rather than dragon, because the gold off the bounties may be worth it. It feels like if you try and fight this third dragon, it is just the final nail in the coffin. With how far ahead EDG are, it just doesn't really feel possible. Especially like your front line just can't match up to EDG's.
That massive front line that you're talking about is the one-man army that is XiaoXiang. He is so invincible at this point in the game. Jiejie will be looking for a kick. Here we go, Forge God once again. It's a knock-up onto Creme and a hook to follow. See you later. That's 1 and 4 now. The XiaoXiang just dips out again. 20 seconds until the Drake. And EDG are happy to play this one slow. They're happy to just slowly but surely find each advantage that they need. Drake could be an option, but so could a mid inhibitor, so could a Baron. There's plenty of options on the table for EDG.
Why not both? Why not a Baron? Why not whatever the hell they want, you know? For EDG, the sky is the limit right now. You got the full push mid. They will, some move over towards the dragon, some will start to position a Baron, and I think a lot of the posture of Baron is just more so to keep OMG entertained, as they will be able to steal this one away. Creme has the teleport to come back out of the map. So I think when XiaoXiang has his ult up again, honestly, I think EDG should just start baiting Baron. You try and move through your jungle as OMG to secure that. You've got so much follow-up that can come through on EDG side from a Call of the Forge God through those narrow corridors. You can't really position as Creme and Able in those tight quarters, especially without flash for Creme. So I feel like for EDG, your best bet is just to start playing that Baron dance.
And you thought that Scout was scary before. Thinking emoji coming out from Aki. He doesn't really know what to do at this point. You thought Scout was scary before. He's finished his death cap. We've got a 3-item Aphelios as well. This isn't getting any easier for OMG, because once again, let's go back to a conversation we had what feels like an hour ago at this point, Dagda. We've got an Ornn here, and he's starting to get to the point where he's going to be able to give out some big old scary items. That's a lot of gold value, and when you give it over to the Aphelios to start us off, well, that's when things get really, really difficult for the side of OMG in these fights. Viper's going to be an absolute monster. Scout as well. It's not getting any easier. Abel's been found by a Sonic Wave. Jiejie kind of messes his ward up. Oh, the kick into the knockup. They've kind of messed the combo. Jiejie's too deep at this point. Creme has gone down on the other side. No, he actually survives. What is happening to EDG in this fight? Aki gets one, goes down for his trouble, but it's 2 for 1 in favor of OMG. Creme off to the side, looking for poke damage. Viper goes forward. Can they finish the kills? Scout turns golden after blasting his ult off, but he doesn't have the damage to finish it. And EDG, the biggest botch I've seen this entire split.
Yeah, slightly messy play coming through from XiaoXiang and Jiejie. The L slide and bop straight into the ram horn didn't quite work out. Now, although Viper still fully healed, still could try to do work.
No way, right? Yes, screw it, why not? Let's just
They got TP for XiaoXiang. So they have no idea. They have
weapon.
the TP for XiaoXiang still. Aki only just spawned alongside Jiejie, so XiaoXiang can just TP onto that ward, keep himself safe, and they can try and solo this. Of course, this is, you know, perfect guns for Viper, so he doesn't take damage.
Yeah, TP came in, and that means pings galore coming out from OMG. Can they finish it off, though? Because damage reduced by Baron hitting you, remember. They don't have Smite. Cold over the wall. Can the miracle happen? No, it can't. Jiejie arrived. I was wrong. They did have Smite. Jiejie turns up to the scene. Beautifully done by EDG. I wasn't sure if they'd be able to do it, but I've been proven wrong by EDG once again.
I really like this call from EDG, though, to actually start the fight. It's just unfortunate timing, right? Because as you can see, the kick from Jiejie means that Abel's able to stay alive. And Abel being alive is the entire focus of this fight now for OMG. He's able to tear through XiaoXiang. Aki doing a wonderful job of getting onto EDG in the backline and making it really difficult for Viper and Scout to play forward here. Abel is able to heal up, but forces Scout to flash forward to finish him off, which then allows Creme to come back into the fight, play at range against Viper, and actually go 3 for 2 in that fight for OMG. Baron, though, changes this. Oh, look, as now EDG get full control of top side. Aki is down on the bottom side of EDG's jungle, so he's got to reset as his top tower falls.
And the crazy thing is, on the back of that replay, even though OMG actually won the fight, it's EDG to get the Baron, but also, you actually have to praise Scout. The flash forward at the end to kill Abel is the only reason that OMG don't have a resounding win in that fight, and maybe even get a Baron themselves, right? So Scout, once again, clutch plays. There's another stun coming out from Scout, and a call of the Forge God to try and snipe Cold. Will not hit the mark. Cold survives for the time being. EDG have to be cautious, going for an inhib here. Moonlight Vigil dodged by Creme. Shanji playing front line, trying to survive as long as he can. He's doing a good job of it. EDG having to back away a little bit on this one, but Viper's not afraid of anything. Again, waiting on the lantern there. Happy to just hold on for the time being. It's an inhib in the top lane, and EDG, it looked a little dicey for a time, but not dicey enough.
I mean, it's a great reset time, right? Spend all your gold, you come back out with 40 seconds on till Dragon. OMG TPing into the area to see if they can keep it, but you've got no Chaos Storm for Creme. Should be up just in time. Same with, I'm thinking Shanji's up, although Shanji might be a little bit late to the party, as EDG now rock forward into OMG.
And you know, you see Shanji trying to find a position to go for a flank with Aki, but these Scrya's orbs coming out from EDG keep the team safe, or the Farsight orbs, sorry. As OMG now just going to be forced out of the area. They know that they can't muscle a 5v5. But it's going to be Ocean Soul here. So OMG have to go for the fight. Shanji stepping forward. Cold has to find the perfect hook. Some kind of miracle has to happen here for OMG to take this fight. They're almost 10,000 gold down. Keep your eyes on Abel and Creme. They've got to stay safe. They've got to get the damage out. XiaoXiang, Ball of the Forge God, is available whenever he wants to pull the trigger. Jiejie just sitting on the dragon is here we go. Abel knocked up by the Call of the Forge God. The combo, but XiaoXiang misses the knockup. It doesn't matter. He just he just 1v1'd Abel in the back of the fight. Beautifully done by XiaoXiang. And that is probably going to be game. Double kill for the Ornn. Blow your horn. Because Creme goes down as well for one for Viper. The Ocean Soul is taken, and Aki just drops a confused frog in the brush. He's an alcove gamer, and he knows that this one's done and dusted. EDG are going to push this one home for a 2-0 win in dominant fashion over OMG.
I mean, EDG, their team fighting still looking good. One or two missteps with the coordination, but overall, it's a clean 2-0 for EDG, and they'll be real bot lane.